What's up everyone, Wesley Malott here, still stuck in quarantine. So today I thought I would do something cool and take a look at my Pocket 4K and Pocket 6K shoulder rig setup. Cue the B-roll. Now in my opinion, this shoulder rig is the perfect, most cost-effective shoulder rig solution for independent and low-budget filmmaking. Right now it's set up with the Pocket 4K, but very easily I can swap the camera out and have the Pocket 6K in this shoulder rig. In addition, this setup allows me to go from tripod to shoulder rig to EasyRig to slider very quickly and very easily. So it is a very versatile, very interchangeable system. This is a very ergonomically friendly setup, as basically everything on here has a purpose. There isn't an unnecessary attachment or accessory on this shoulder rig. Now let's jump in here and talk about the core of the entire rig setup, which is the small rig full cage 2203. This cage is littered with 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch threaded holes to mount any accessories wherever you want. So for instance, if you didn't like your monitor being mounted on top, you could very easily move it over to the left side here. On top of the cage here, we have our small rig SSD holder model 2245B. This SSD holder does its job well. It holds the SSD very snug and secure to the cage. But one of the things that I find very frustrating about this particular SSD holder is these knobs hit each other. They don't have clearance, so you actually have to physically lift them up whenever you're tightening or loosening your SSD out of the holder. And another thing to keep in mind is that the holder does not fit older models of the Samsung SSDs, such as the T3. It only fits the T5. I'm not quite sure if it fits the T6 or not, since I don't have any of those, so feel free to let me know in the comments below if this SSD holder does in fact fit the T6 or not. On top here we have the small rig top handle grip model 1984. I'm a big fan of this handle because you can move it backwards and forwards based upon what is most comfortable for your specific hand grip. Me personally, I like to keep it in the middle here so that I know that the camera is fully secure in my hands. Another thing that I'm a big fan of with this top handle is that it has this magnetized Allen wrench holder, and this Allen wrench that is included works on the entire cage. In addition, we also have more 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch mounting holes, and also 2 cold shoe mounts where you can mount an external microphone, or as I do a lot of times for my YouTube videos, I will actually mount a small catch light for my eyes on top of the rig here. On the side here, we have our HDMI and USB-C cable clamp. Now, this cable clamp is important because it not only protects your cables, but it also protects your camera's ports from damage as well. For instance, I had a friend of mine whose camera got knocked over on a shoot, and he did not have the cable clamp, and the cables pulled up and actually snapped all of the ports out of place, and he had to send his camera into Blackmagic for repair, which ended up costing him about 600 bucks. The next part of the rig is the small rig 2272 base plate, which is the base of the entire rig. The base plate has a 15mm rail support, which allows us to mount the battery, handles, and shoulder pad to the rig. And it also has a quick release plate that allows us to take the camera out of the rig very quickly. On the bottom of the base plate, I always leave a Manfrotto plate attached so that I can move quickly between different setups. Inside of the base plate, I do have a set of 12-inch small rig 15mm rails. Right now, this rig setup with these 12-inch rails is nice and compact, but in the future, I would like to add a mat box to the front, which I can't really do with these 12-inch rails. On the back of the rig here, we have our battery solution attached to the 15mm rails because, as we all know, the internal batteries for the Pocket 6K and Pocket 4K suck. So I have an Indie Pro Tools V-mount plate with the WAPU connector built into it running directly into the camera. And on top of that, I am using a Juicebox 150 watt hour V-mount battery. And if you're interested in checking this battery solution out in more detail, I've actually done a full video on it before, which you can find in the link above. The V-mount plate itself is affordable and has the WAPU connector built into it, which is actually the big reason that I got this specific plate over other V-mount plates out there. And the Juicebox V-mount battery, in my opinion, is the absolute best bang for your buck. It's very affordable, it's reliable, and it also allows you to run the camera all day without it dying on 12-hour shoots. I've run this single battery many times on 12-hour shoots without having to charge or swap batteries at all. If you are running your monitor, follow focus, or any other external accessories off this V-mount, then you'll probably get around 6 to 8 hours of battery life out of it. So if you do plan on using the battery to power a lot of accessories, then you'll definitely want to pick up another one. On the front here, we have our 15mm rosette bracket, which attaches to our rails and allows us to attach a rosette handle for easier, more comfortable handheld work. I also have these rosette extensions attached to the rosette bracket, which allows us to get a better positioning for maximum comfort. And on the back of the rig here, we have a EasyRig shoulder pad, which makes doing shoulder rig work a lot more comfortable as you don't have any metal rods digging into your shoulders. Also attached to the 15mm rails, we have our follow focus system, which is the Tilta Nucleus Nano. Although some single shooters might say that this is an unnecessary accessory, it's extremely useful because it helps cut down on some of the micro vibrations that could transfer to your image if you're just using your fingers on the lens. As for my monitor here, I use a small HD AC7, which is a 7-inch monitor. It's pretty old now, but it is still very useful for monitoring and focus. And that is everything in my completely interchangeable Pocket 6K and Pocket 4K shoulder rig setup. It's extremely versatile and ergonomically friendly for low budget filmmaking, and most importantly, it's very comfortable for those long hour shoots. If you're interested in checking out any of the parts to my shoulder rig, links are in the description below. Just a really quick reminder that we do have Killer Be Killed posters and canvases on sale in our merchandise store. So links to that are also in the description below. We're also really excited to announce the launch of our brand new Patreon. So if you're a fan of our channel and want to support it, you can receive early access to our videos and longer, bigger, more detailed behind the scenes videos. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment below, and we'll see you next time for another episode of